of us can relate to feeling unworthy of God's goodness. Sometimes when we think about who we are, what we do, and how we respond to God, it seems doubtful that God could continue blessing us the same way. But the truth is, His goodness is more persistent than you think. Revelation for Life is here to challenge your perspective. Based on what we have been exposed to in this world, it can be difficult to grasp and accept the nature of God's goodness. People on earth are good to us, yes, but it's often conditional and it can wane over time. Sometimes people are happy to give you a helping hand, but they become tired of constantly giving you handouts. They might figure that you should have been in a better position by now. Sometimes people are happy to bless you, but after a while they feel hurt if you don't or can't reciprocate. They're good to you as long as you are good to them. Or sometimes your actions hurt someone and they're no longer committed to supporting you. And still, there are times when people genuinely care about you and want to support you come what may, but because of their own human limitations, they just can't always be there for you. This is not the case with God, though. He's committed to being good to you every day of your life without fail. Lamentations 3:22-23 says, "The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." This is a big promise. God's goodness and mercy is new every single morning. This is probably best exemplified when the children of Israel were going through the wilderness. We can see this account in Exodus chapter 16 from verse 14 to 21. "And when the dew had gone up, there was on the face of the wilderness a fine flake-like thing, fine as frost on the ground. When the people of Israel saw it, they said to one another, 'What is it?' For they did not know what it was. And Moses said to them, 'It is the bread that the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Gather of it, each one of you, as much as he can eat. You shall each take an omer, according to the number of the persons that each of you has in his tent.' And the people of Israel did so. They gathered, some more, some less. But when they measured it with an omer, whoever gathered much had nothing left over, and whoever gathered little had no lack. Each of them gathered as much as he could eat. And Moses said to them, 'Let no one leave any of it over till the morning.' But they did not listen to Moses. Some left part of it till the morning, and it bred worms and stank. And Moses was angry with them. Morning by morning they gathered it, each as much as he could eat. But when the sun grew hot, it melted." Now, let's look at this account carefully. God was consistent in sending them food every single morning. He told them not to hoard it up, just take what they needed. He had committed to feeding them every morning. He didn't want them to save any for the next day because, as I said, he had committed to providing it every single morning. When they tried to save it back, it spoiled. He was trying to teach them to trust the persistence of his goodness. And that's what he's trying to teach us today. Matthew 6:34 says, "Therefore, do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble." When we worry about the next day, we don't trust that his goodness will be persistent. But even then, in our disbelief, he is still persistent. You see, unlike the example set by the world, God's goodness is not based on your response or your performance. It's based squarely on his promise. Hebrews 10:23 says, "Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful." God will not waver on what he has committed to do. So we should never waver in our belief that he will do it every single morning. Now, there's something about the morning. In Psalm 90 verse 14 says, "Satisfy us in the morning with your steadfast love." Psalm 143 verse 8 says, "Let me hear in the morning of your steadfast love, for in you I trust." Psalm 59 verse 16 says, "But I will sing of your strength. I will sing aloud of your steadfast love in the morning." Now, the morning is where your day begins. If you entertain the wrong thoughts in the morning, the enemy can steal the entire day. Reinforce and remind yourself every morning of the mercies and goodness due. Psalm 23 verse 6 says, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever." Some mornings, you might find yourself doubting that goodness is due. But the truth is, God's goodness is more persistent than you think. This is Revelation for Life. Scripture quotations from the ESV Bible.